Hola, bienvenidos a Spanish in Scene, tu escuela de español.
Welcome to today's Grammar Deep Dive, Focused Learners. I am honestly so incredibly excited to guide you through this explainer today because we're going to unlock the magic of one of the absolute most versatile words in the Spanish language. Yep, the word aunque. We'll look really closely at how a super simple grammatical mood change completely alters its meaning. You know, this is a crucial B2 level milestone, and mastering it, it's going to make your Spanish sound so much more natural, precise, and expressive. So, what exactly is aunque? Well, at its core, it's a Spanish conjunction used to connect two ideas. But here's where it gets absolutely fascinating for us as language learners. It doesn't just have one strict English translation. It translates to either even though or even if. And you're probably wondering, how do I know which one it is? It depends entirely on whether it's followed by the indicative or the subjunctive mood. The overarching rule to remember here is that context is literally everything. It's not just about the word itself, it's about your intention as the speaker and what grammatical path you decide to take to express that intention.
Section 1. Aunque plus the indicativo. Presenting new information.
As a teacher, I always like to gently remind my students that the indicative is the mood of reality. It's the mood of certainty. We use the indicative when we're presenting a solid fact or when we're presenting brand new information to our listener that we genuinely believe to be true. You're making a declaration about the real world. Now, what's really cool about this is how beautifully it translates into English logic. When you use aunque with the indicative mood, it almost always translates directly to even though. And why is that? Well, because you're declaring an absolute truth that the listener just doesn't know yet. You are stating a fact. You aren't guessing, and you definitely aren't speaking in hypotheticals. You're giving them new, concrete information. Let's paint a picture to make this crystal clear. Picture this. You're standing at your front door. You look outside, and you actively see rain pouring down from the sky. Puddles are forming on the ground. It is an undeniable fact. Because it's happening right now in reality, you use the indicative. Let's listen to our native Spanish speaker read this sentence. Pay close attention to that pure, authentic S sound at the end of the verb.
Aunque llueve, voy a salir a caminar.
Exactly. Even though it is raining, I am going to go for a walk. You are telling someone a fact they might not have known. Let's move to another scenario and see how this builds. Imagine you're staring directly at a gorgeous bakery cake through the window, and it has a confirmed price tag of $500 right there on the glass. You know for fact it's expensive. It's an undeniable reality. Let's hear our native Spanish voice read this factual indicative statement.
Aunque el pastel es caro, lo voy a comprar.
Beautiful. Even though the cake is expensive, I am going to buy it. You're stating the absolute reality of the price and your firm decision to buy it anyway.
Section 2. Aunque plus the subjuntivo. Known or uncertain information.
Excellent. Now, let's shift gears completely. We are moving into the realm of the subjunctive mood. Now, I know the subjunctive can sometimes feel a little bit abstract to learners, but I want to guide you through a super simple rule of thumb for this context. We use the subjunctive with aunque when the information is either already known by everyone involved in the conversation, or if the situation is completely uncertain, hypothetical, and not yet a reality. So, the crucial takeaway here is that when we use the subjunctive mood, aunque magically translates to even if in English. This is a massive signal to your listener. It tells them that we aren't stating a hard fact anymore. We're talking about a hypothetical possibility, or we're acknowledging a situation that might happen, but we just aren't completely sure. We are living in the world of what-ifs. Let's jump back to our rain example, but change the context. Imagine you're outside looking up at cloudy, dark skies with a friend. It's not raining yet, but it certainly might rain later. It is entirely uncertain. Because it's a hypothetical future event, we absolutely must trigger the subjunctive mood. Let's hear how that sounds with a native accent.
Aunque llueva, voy a salir a caminar.
Perfect. Even if it rains, I'm going to go for a walk. Notice the shift there. We aren't saying it is raining, we're saying if it happens, the plan remains exactly the same. And this brilliantly illustrates our cake scenario too. Imagine you're chatting with a friend about a really fancy bakery downtown. You haven't seen the cake, you haven't looked at the menu, and you don't actually know the price yet, but you highly suspect it could be expensive based on the bakery's reputation. It's purely hypothetical. Let's cue the native Spanish voice to deliver the subjunctive phrase. Aunque el pastel sea caro, lo voy a comprar. Yes, even if the cake is expensive, I am going to buy it. We use the subjunctive sea instead of the indicative es because the high price is just a guess at this point. It is not a confirmed fact. To really solidify this concept in your mind, let's directly contrast the two rain scenarios right next to each other. On the left, we have our absolute fact. You see the rain pouring down. On the right, are hypothetical. You're just looking at dark clouds and guessing. Let's have our native voice read both phrases back to back so you can really hear the auditory comparison.
Aunque llueve. Aunque llueva.
Did you catch that? Even though it's raining versus even if it rains. Just by changing that final vowel from an E to an A, you communicate an entirely different reality and context to your listener.
We can see this exact same powerful shift with our cake examples. On the left, the indicative mood confirms that heavy $500 price tag. You saw it with your own eyes. On the right, the subjunctive mood leaves the price as a mere hypothetical possibility in your mind. Let's hear them both together. Aunque el pastel es caro, aunque el pastel sea caro, even though the cake is expensive, versus even if the cake is expensive. It's truly incredible how much power one single grammatical mood shift has, isn't it? It completely changes the story you're telling.
So let's bring back our full infographic as a final visual anchor for today's lesson. What you should really take away from this explainer is that mastering these moods gives you incredible precision. Use the indicative for solid facts and presenting brand new information to your listener. And use the subjunctive for the hypothetical, the uncertain, or for information that everyone in the conversation already knows. Mastering this single word, aunque, and knowing exactly when to toggle between these two moods will absolutely elevate your Spanish to a solid B2 level. It shows you truly understand the nuance of the language. So the next time you speak Spanish, I want you to ask yourself, are you living in the concrete reality of the indicative or the endless possibilities of the subjunctive?
Sigue practicando todos los días un poco y hasta la próxima clase de Spanish en Sí.